Are you one of those people who loves the pub or the idea of the pub without acting on that impulse very often? I'm afraid I am. I think the pub is a great British institution that frankly needs all the custom it can muster in order to survive. So tonight, as you fire up the garden barbecue and take a bottle of white wine from the kitchen fridge, a plea for the boozer. Historically, the pub's always had its critics, and they were often right. A working man who spent his wages at the bar, not on his family, was a wastrel. But the pub, properly used, not abused, was and remains a force for good. I remember the haunts of my youth, the Green Man, the Coach and Horses, the Lemon Tree. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, they dispensed not just ale, but the glue of community cohesion. And they provided something else, a firm look. From a landlord or landlady, was there enough to tell a young drinker they'd had enough? A well-run pub is a school for responsible consumption, teaching lessons that last a lifetime. Well, those pubs I mentioned, all closed now. It's been happening for years, but recently the number of pubs that call time for the last time has rocketed. During lockdown, 40 pubs a week were closing for good. Well, that might raise a cheer from the Temperance Society, but don't assume that people are actually drinking less, because pubs are shutting. During lockdown, when pubs were forced to close, drinking at home went through the roof. Perhaps you recognise this. It was often a different kind of, sometimes quite joyless drinking too, solitary, unsocial, antisocial even, often going on for longer than a session in the pub might have done. The epidemiologists who modelled lockdown failed to factor in so many unwelcome side effects. The spike in the consumption of booze at home was but one of them. In a country where 8 million Britons now live alone, do you know that 8 million Britons now live alone? The pub should be seen for what it is, not as a Victorian hellhole where parents drown their sorrows and forget to feed their kids, but as a haven for conversation, for chance encounters, and exposure to patrons from different walks of life with, oh yes, different points of view. Yesterday was National Beer Day. If you missed it, make amends today. Make the most of tonight's balmy weather and raise a glass in the beer garden of the great British pub.